For nearly 1,000 years, the samurai stood at the center of Japanese life. They were warriors, administrators, and symbols of honor. From the northern mountains to the southern coasts, their presence defined villages, towns, and castles. Their swords shaped politics. Their coats shaped society. But in less than 50 years, this ancient class would be erased. Not by a foreign invasion. Not by a single catastrophic battle. The samurai would fall to the unstoppable force of modernization, and Japan would never be the same. The samurai emerged during the Heian period, around the 10th century, when the imperial court weakened and landowners needed protection. Small bands of warriors were hired to defend estates. Over time, these fighters formed a distinct warrior class. They lived by loyalty, discipline, and skill in battle. Their weapons were bows, swords, and early spears. They trained daily, mastering techniques that would take decades to perfect. By the 12th century, these warriors had cemented their status as samurai in a class above ordinary peasants and artisans. Their rise marked the beginning of a feudal system that would dominate Japan for centuries. Central to the samurai's identity was Bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido demanded loyalty, courage, honor, and self-sacrifice. A samurai who failed his lord could restore honor only through seppuku, ritual suicide. Fear of death was replaced by fear of dishonor. But Bushido was more than punishment. It guided daily life, in governance, in social conduct, and even in poetry or tea ceremonies. A samurai could be a warrior, a scholar, and a statesman, all in one lifetime. Feudal Japan was a rigid society. At the top, the emperor, a spiritual figure with limited political power. Real authority, the shogun, the supreme military ruler. Regional lords, daimyo, who commanded armies and governed provinces. Samurai, warriors and administrators under the daimyo. Peasants, artisans, and merchants, the working backbone of society. Class mobility was nearly impossible. A peasant could not become a samurai, no matter how talented. This hierarchy maintained order, but it also prevented adaptation to change. In 1603, Tokugawa Ieyasu unified Japan and established the Tokugawa shogunate. For over 250 years, Japan experienced peace. Fighting was rare, and many samurai became bureaucrats rather than warriors. Their swords became symbols of status, not tools of war. To maintain control, Japan isolated itself from foreign influence. Trade was limited, Christianity was banned, and Western ideas were mostly ignored. This long peace created stability, but it also left Japan unprepared for the modern world. In 1853, Commodore Perry arrived with black-hulled American warships. Japan's traditional defenses, swords, spears, and small cannons, could not compete with modern firearms and naval artillery. Perry's message was clear: open your ports to trade or face invasion. The shogunate was forced to negotiate. For the first time in centuries, the samurai confronted a reality that could not fight with skill or honor alone. By 1868, the shogunate fell. Power returned to the emperor in the Meiji Restoration. The government moved swiftly. Feudal domains were abolished. Samurai stipends ended. Wearing swords became illegal. A modern conscript army replaced hereditary warriors. Samurai struggled to adapt. Some became bureaucrats, merchants, or teachers. Others refused, clinging to a dying way of life. Not all samurai accepted these changes. Saigō Takamori, one of the most respected warriors of his time, led a rebellion in 1877. Thousands of former samurai joined him, fighting with swords and traditional tactics against rifles and cannons. The conflict was brutal. Despite their courage, the rebellion failed. Saigō Takamori died, and with him, the last major organized samurai resistance. The samurai disappeared as a class, but their influence remained. Bushido evolved into values for the modern era: discipline, loyalty, respect, and duty. These principles shaped Japan's military, education, and culture. Even today, the samurai's spirit echoes in arts, business, and everyday life. The samurai were not defeated because they were weak. They were defeated because the world changed faster than tradition could adapt. Their fall teaches a timeless lesson. Power belongs not to those who cling to the past, but to those who understand the future. The samurai vanished, but their legacy endures, reminding us that honor, courage, and loyalty are timeless.